There, I am going to share my screen with you and jump right in. I'll introduce myself first. I'm Sarah Joseph. I'm the author of The Animals in My Brain, A Kid's Guide to Understanding and Controlling Their Behavior. I'm also a gold leader with doTERRA, a positive discipline trainer, and a family therapist, and a mama too. So welcome. I'm very excited that you're joining me today or watching this video recording later. In October, I launched, we published it, and we launched it, and when we launched it, it did really well. And I was super excited to see how well it did. We were able to hit Amazon's bestseller list. So we're number 5. The first day that we launched, we were number 5 on the children's products, children's books. And we were number 2 on the children's emotions and feelings books. I could not get past Robert Munsch. Love you forever. But I'll take it. Being on the same list as Robert Munsch was pretty amazing. Just like being able to hit 19 overall on the bestsellers list for Amazon was pretty amazing, and being on the same list as Rachel Hollis, like blew my mind. So when we started selling the book and seeing the response that we were getting from parents and kids and teachers, I was getting notes from people all over the place. I thought, I really want to help all of these people utilize the book and learn how I use essential oils with my own kids and with the kids that I deal with in therapy. So in doing so, I wrote a companion guide, an essential oils companion guide to go along with the book. And in the companion guide, I shared some of my favorite recipes that I use with kids. And then, of course, labels, right? We have to have cool labels. So we designed some really cute labels. And the toppers, I have to show you. The toppers are the animals from the book. They're so cute. So kids can find, look and see which animal do I need right now, which animal do I need to help right now in my brain, and then they can find the little animal on their topper and be able to use the blends that they've made with their parents. So I don't know, can you see this screen okay? So when you're using the companion guide, you can use it personally, or you could use it to teach a make and take class, right? So the guide includes pages. It's not very long. It's only about 8 pages long, the companion guide, but it has an introduction, and then it has like when you're choosing essential oils, where to choose essential oils. So I go into sourcing and quality and transparency, and then how to use essential oils. And then there's tips for parents and caregivers and dilution for kids. And then as you can see, I put a picture up here of Derek the guard dog. And you can see that there is suggestions for singles and blends. So you could use this as a tool to teach customers that have been using oils for a while, and use it as a make and take, because there are 3 different recipes for each animal. So there's rollers and sprays, and there's 3 for each animal. So you end up having 9, 12, how many is that? 9 times 3 times 4 is 12. You end up having 12 recipes that you can make, and the labels are for those. And then there's also diffuser blends for each of the animals. And then the last page of the book is just more diffuser blends that are helpful for kids. And so physically, emotionally, and mentally, they're broken down into. And then of course the companion guide comes with your sheet of labels, right? And so you can, you could purchase those as kits to sell to people coming to a make and take, or you could just use the companion guide and share a couple of the recipes and make your own labels, or buy multiple packages of labels and just use and make up little cue cards yourself for the recipes. I feel like it'd be pretty easy to make up a class based on it, or just have like a night where you're playing around with oils with either your own kids or a couple of friends, right? So that's the companion guide. And then I designed a tear sheet because I started having friends who are also in doTERRA ask me if I would teach a class based on my book. And like, because I was talking about the companion guide. And so I came up with a class handout. And from the class handout, we created the tear pad. And so I've been teaching this for about 8 months now, and getting really good feedback from my team and our customers. And again, it's set up in a way where you could use it as a continuing education class, or you could use it as a new to oils class. Okay, so I'm gonna teach you right now. I'm gonna share the class, how it looks right now, so that you have an opportunity to see how you could do this yourself. Okay. And I've made up some slides that just capture the different parts of the tear pad. But if you're interested in doing this online, then I'm happy to share these slides with you. So first, if you haven't read the book is called The Animals in My Brain, and it just really helps kids understand the brain process, right? And when I developed this, I developed it as a poster first, because I was in counseling practice and I was seeing kids every day and talking with their parents and with them and trying to explain how the brain works and affects our behavior. And using the big words like amygdala and prefrontal cortex sometimes just went over their heads. So in order to make it more understandable, I made up a poster and I used animals to explain it. And the kids really got it. And I started using this with kids as young as like 2.5, 3 years old. And the kids understood it and would go home and would use the language, and even started teaching other kids about it. I was so excited. So here's the overview, and this poster is also available on my website for free. It's a free download. So you just enter your email address and then you'll get a copy of the poster. And it is in the book. So if you have a copy of the book, you can just open up the book and show this poster. So it's important to understand the parts of the brains before we jump into the class. So let's start there. So the guard dog is the amygdala, and it's the part of your brain that takes in everything that's going on around you and decides if it's safe or unsafe. Now, if it's safe, it allows the information to flow up to the higher levels of your brain, like the hippocampus, or into ELSA, the elephant, or the prefrontal cortex, which is the wise old owl. And when it flows into those upper parts of the brain, the elephant uses the information to help code it and put it into your memory banks. And the wise old owl can use that information from ELSA to help solve problems. Now, so the hippocampus is the part that helps you, the elephant, right? It's the part that helps you learn, remember, and recall information. So it's really important if we're sitting down to write a test, or if we're trying to remember the rules, then we really need access to our elephant. And the prefrontal cortex is in the wise old owl is in charge of helping us solve problems, language, impulse control, reasoning, and logic. So we really need our prefrontal cortex, or a wise old owl, to be in charge of the brain. Now, when Derek the guard dog, or our amygdala, takes in information that he thinks is scary, then what he does is he starts barking. And when he starts barking, it scares off our prefrontal cortex, or our wise old owl, and it scares off Elsa the elephant. So we don't have access to those parts of our brain. So we can't really learn, we can't recall for tests or for rules. Our impulse control is gone, our language skills is diminished, our reasoning and logic is diminished, and we definitely can't solve any problems. So when a child is in this state, or when we are, because we go there too, there's no way that you can teach them a lesson, that you can correct behavior, or you can solve a problem with them. Because what happens is Anthony the ape, it wakes up and is in charge of the brain. So Anthony is our fight, flight, or freeze response. And when he's in charge, we often do and say things that gets us into trouble. Okay. So the problem with Derek the guard dog is that he's just a puppy, and he doesn't really understand the difference between something that's really dangerous and something that is just like our little sister poking us and bugging us, right? And so he responds in the exact same way. He starts barking really loud and scares off our wise old owl and Elsa the elephant. And then Anthony the ape comes out and takes charge of our brain and makes us do and say things that gets us into trouble. So this is what the story of the book is about. The story of the book is about a child who is doing some coloring, and her sister is bugging her, and her guard dog starts barking, and her ape takes over her brain. And so she responds, and then her mom explains to her what the animals in the brain are and how she can help control them. Okay? So what I would like to start with is some tips for taming the animals in your child's brain. So the first tip, obviously, is to create a healthy foundation of diet and supplements, right? When we are fed well, when we have good nourishing food, when we have all of the nutrients and vitamins that our bodies need, then our brains function better. We also want to ensure good gut health with a quality probiotic. And we'll dive deeper into why that's necessary, but it helps with our overall health and our brains. And children learn best through watching their models around them, right? And so if we can model taking a break and using our oils when we're feeling our guard dogs barking, then our kids are more likely to try doing that when they're upset, when their guard dogs are barking. And also empowering kids how to use skills, how to skillfully and safely apply the children's plans for themselves is really going to empower them to know what they need when they're feeling upset and how to take care of their own emotional health. Now there's a few more tips here on the tear pad, and one of them is acknowledging that one of the fastest and most effective ways to get a guard dog to start barking is with authentic connection through validating feelings, soothing touch, and calming aromas. So sharing your essential oils while you're cuddling with your child to help them calm down is really, really helpful. There's a myth in our society that children learn how to self-soothe by being left alone. But the truth is children learn how to soothe themselves and regulate their emotions by us co-regulating or by us soothing them. And so one of the best ways to do that is really just by holding them, comforting them, and naming their feelings. So saying things like, you seem frustrated, you sound angry, you look sad, right, is going to help them understand what they're feeling better. Okay. Oh, and now I can't. There we go. So essential oils support our brains and behavioral responses. They support us physically, mentally, and emotionally, and they support healthy cell function, positively affecting our mood, our overall health, and wiring the brain for healthier thought patterns and responses. And so the 3 ways that you can use essential oils with your children or with ourselves is aromatically, and smell is the fastest way to affect mood. The aromatic molecules travel into our olfactory bulbs through our nose, and that's linked to the emotional part of our brain, and it helps to unlock the amygdala, which is the center of the emotions and emotional behavior. So that guard dog, it's gonna basically affect the guard dog and help the guard dog stop barking. And so one of the oils that is really nice for helping uplift mood is wild orange. We can also use the essential oils topically. And topically, essential oils are transdermal. And what that means is that they are tiny molecules, can pass through your skin and into your circulatory system. And so applied anywhere on the body, they will penetrate every cell and get to your brain. And so when we're using essential oils, we want to make sure that we're using them with fractionated coconut oil. Fractionated coconut oil or another carrier oil of your choice is going to help trap the essential oils onto the skin and help them penetrate through your skin layers. Because essential oils are volatile compounds, they evaporate into the air quite quickly. And so I recently had a friend say to me, if you want the effects for yourself, you need to use a carrier oil. If you want to be the diffuser for everybody else, you don't use a carrier oil. I quite liked that. The other reason that we like to use this, the fractionated coconut oil is to reduce any kind of sensitivity to the skin. So oils are quite potent and powerful, and we only need a drop or 2 to do the job. So when we dilute it with a fractionated coconut oil or another carrier oil, that's going to help provide that barrier to the skin that where sensitivity might be developed. Also, it saves us money because we don't have to use as much oil to get the area covered, right? Mm-hmm. So the last way is internal, and because doTERRA essential oils are pure and are labeled for dietary use, they can be used internally and are safe to use in water or under the tongue or in a gel capsule if your child's able to swallow. I love putting oils in smoothies for after school snacks, and we make the On Guard apples quite often. And on the tear pad, there is a recipe for the On Guard apples. Okay, so next is when you're choosing your essential oils, we want to make sure that you're choosing the best quality essential oils. And so here are a few things that you want to look for. You want to look for sourcing. Where the plant is grown matters because the terrain, the soil, and the environment all play into the chemical makeup of the plant and thus the essential oil. So the distillation process, the temperature, and the use of toxic chemicals or solvents to extract also affect the purity and potency of essential oils. So to make sure that you're getting a absolutely pure essential oil and your quality is perfect, you want to make sure that they're therapeutic and the highest grade of essential oil. And in order to make sure that the quality is there, oils need to be tested for purity, potency, and therapeutic value for their specific constituents. And then also, I always like to look for transparency because there's very few regulations on labeling and selling therapeutic grade essential oils. This leaves companies to self-regulate their own quality and marketing. So many companies make claims that they cannot support. So look for essential oil companies that can back up their claims, labeling with proof, and third-party testing that is available for you to review and will help you know that you are using the best pure and therapeutic grade essential oils. And I love doTERRA's transparency through their Source to You website. Okay, let's jump into digestive health. So gut health is crucial to our emotional wellness and physical wellness. 90% of our body's serotonin and other feel-good chemicals are produced in the gut. And believe it or not, gut health affects your neurotransmitters activity, and that's how you think, how you feel, how you process information, and your energy levels. And so having a probiotic for kids is really important for their gut health. And doTERRA makes this great one that's a powdered probiotic supplement designed for children, and it's got 5 billion live cells of a unique blend of 6 different probiotic strains specifically selected for their benefits among children. My kids love these little satchels because it's so fun to eat. They remind me of those sugar straws that we used to have when we were kids. Maybe they still make them, I don't know. But often my kids will take them to school. I just pop them into their lunches as a treat. They take it to school and they come home and they ask if they can bring extras for their friends the next day. So I'm always like, no, here, give them my card instead. So overall health is also really important, right? When we feel better, we do better. So we want to make sure that our kids are having that foundation of vitamins and nutrients that they need in order to function in their busy days. So having the children's chewable, which is a blend of B vitamins with vitamins A, C, and E, as well as some botanical extracts. And this chewable supports healthy cell development, digestion, immunity, bone, nerve, and brain support. I also love the children's soothing blend, Rescuer. And this is a blend of oils that help relieve feelings of head and shoulder tension. It would also be great for active kids who might have sore legs or arms from running and jumping and playing, or even growing pains. It works awesome for that. And then the children's protective blend, Stronger, which is a blend of cedarwood, litsea, frankincense, and rose. This supports the body's natural antioxidants defense. And so it can really help boost our immune system, especially when we're fighting something. And then there's frankincense. Frankincense is one of the most prized and precious essential oils, and it supports cellular function, balances the mind, and lifts the mood. It promotes a healthy skeletal and nervous system. And the nervous system is connected to our emotional brains, and so it's a really important part of our systems to balance and to support when we're thinking about mood and behavioral responses. So frankincense is calming and soothing and really relaxing to the nervous system, and it supports healthy immune function. One of the things that I really find interesting about frankincense is that it's one of the only things that science has found that can cross the blood-brain barrier. And it really acts as a way of like clearing out stuck emotions. So if you find that you or your children are like kind of stuck in these patterns, using frankincense can be really helpful to transition into new behavior. Okay. The omegas promote our immune systems, our nervous system, and supports a healthy function of the brain. Also a really foundational piece. I've seen a lot of kids' behaviors shift simply from using an omega. It's quite amazing how much this can affect our brain and our behavior. So let's look at the animals and which products can support the animals in your brain. And so the wise old owl, remember that's the prefrontal cortex, and it's the part of your brain that helps you with language, reasoning, logic, impulse control, and problem solving. And so the children's restful blend of lavender, kanga, Buddha wood, and Roman chamomile can really help help us feel calmer, help us feel heard, help with sleep and relaxation. And then I've also included some other oils here that might be useful. So if you were teaching a a continuing education class, you could also go into the singles and other blends that are helpful for supporting the wise old owl. And if you were teaching just a 101 using the kids kit, then you might just want to stick to this one oil. Okay. For Elsa the elephant, remember she's the hippocampus and she helps us learn and remember and recall. The children's focus blend, Thinker, is a blend of vetiver, clementine, peppermint, and rosemary. And when it's time to get creative and focus, this is a great blend to use. And it really helps support Elsa and your mind and enhancing learning. And then we have Derek the guard dog. Remember, he's the amygdala, and this is the part of your brain that warns us about danger and makes us act fast. So unfortunately, Derek is still learning what is dangerous and what is annoying, and sometimes he overreacts to things. So the children's, oh, I'm on the wrong slide, sorry. That's Derek. The children's courage blend, it can be really helpful. It's a blend that keeps our wise old owl on its perch by calming Derek. And before, you can use it before new or different situations or just to start the day. It's helpful to rub it on the tummy or the bottoms of the feet to boost courage and confidence. Remember, I like to do it on the tummy. That's where our solar plexus are, and that's a really great place to roll oils when you're thinking of safety, right? And Derek, oh, why? I didn't change the, sorry about that. My slide says Derek the guard dog, but it should say Anthony the ape. So Anthony the ape is that fight, flight, or freeze response. And when Anthony's in charge, things don't go so well. So oils can help us change a mood fast. And I've been finding the steady blend is really effective for being able to change a mood fast. I also really like console for this. And using the two in combination is really helpful. I didn't, and so like just the other day, my daughter and I were getting into a bit of a disagreement, an argument. She's 7 and she was yelling at me and I was getting frustrated. And so we were both in that, you know, both our guard dogs and our apes were out for sure. And so I paused us. We both used the steady and console blends. And within a minute, it was done. We were both feeling so much better and so much calmer. And then we were able to move forward and actually solve the problem together. So the grounding blend is for times when Derek is barking and Anthony is wanting to take charge. Just rubbing it on your child's neck or wrist can really comfort emotions. So as you can see, a great place to get started with supporting the animals in your brain or in your children's brain is the children's collection, and then adding on the PB Assist Junior and the Omega and chewable tablets. This would be a really awesome starter kit for anyone just getting started with oils and wanting to support their children, or even somebody who has been using oils for a while but is wanting to support their children's brain health now. So that's the end of the class. And if you are interested in getting the tools, I just have the link here. So you can hop onto my website at sarahjoseph.ca /orders and order up any kind of kit that you would like. You can get the actual book, The Animals in My Brain, the picture book for kids. And I recommend it for kids like 3 to 10. My son is 10. He still likes it. He shares it with his friends at school and they read it in their classroom and got lots of great feedback. I'm not sure that kids much older than that would really be interested in a picture book, but you never know, depending on the kid, right? And then, yeah, it comes, you can get the companion guide and the labels and the tear sheet, and they're all available separately or combined. So I'll just say thank you very much for joining me today for this quick little intro, and I'll stop recording and answer any questions.